Hi there. Before we dive into today's episode, I want to ask you an important question. Are you wondering why your hard work isn't reflecting in your bank account? If so, I've got something that could change the game for you. With my Digital Product Accelerator one-on-one coaching program, I'm on a mission to help entrepreneurs like you bank consistent revenue without sacrificing your time or sanity. Imagine shifting from 90% client-facing work to enjoying consistent revenue from your digital products, all while reclaiming your time. You already know that you don't need another course, and a one-size-fits-all approach isn't going to cut it. What you need is a strategic, long-term plan tailored just for you. So if you're ready to build the profitable, freedom-giving business you've dreamed of, apply to work with me by going to destinycop.com/apply. I cannot wait to learn more about you and your business. Welcome to the Course Creators MBA podcast. I'm your host, Destiny Cop, and in this podcast, we are covering actionable tips to grow your online course business. And I am so excited to have a guest here with me today. I have Kai Autumn Russell, and she is a fitness and wellness expert with nearly 20 years of experience teaching Pilates, mindfulness, and stress management. Kai helps busy, care-focused women learn to care for themselves through her podcast, her Pilates and yoga online membership, and stress relief courses so that they can gain energy, strength, and zest for their life and purpose. Kai, thanks so much for joining me today. I'm so happy to have you here.
Hi, Destiny. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you today. You've just been such a help in my business. It's really exciting to get to chat with you here, and I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So I know that the course creators who are listening to the show today, they would love if you would tell us a little bit about you, your business, and your journey and how you got to where you are today.
Okay, sure. So basically, my kind of journey through fitness and wellness began really early. I was a professional ballet dancer, so I trained really rigorously all through my childhood and teens. And then, so I had a really interesting relationship with exercise and movement through that, where it was something that I did every day, but it was really focused on work and performance. And then I definitely took some time off from that and, studied totally separate issues through my bachelor's degree and wasn't dancing at all. And then once I graduated, I went back to dancing and then pretty quickly got an injury because I was very deconditioned. And then that injury ended up being the best thing ever for me. I got to rehab at a hospital in Pilates-based rehabilitation and just really discovered a whole new way to look at movement as something that was really nourishing and healing for the body. And basically I told them, after my kind of course was over and my foot had healed, I was like, well, I'm not really leaving. And they agreed that they could tell I wasn't leaving. So they told me to go get certified, which I did, and started working there. And so that was kind of my beginning of getting to help others really heal through movement. And that was something that I just have such a passion for, and it's still carried over almost 20 years later. And I noticed that as, and after I left the hospital, I had a private practice of my own and then my own brick and mortar studio. And through that process, I just really noticed that, the action of really connecting into the body, even healing, getting stronger, really did impact people on a very deep level, just like it had me, where just being able to connect emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically, kind of connecting the whole self into this real holistic way with the body and movement as kind of the conduit for that. And so I kept kind of expanding my business the whole time, not even really thinking of myself as a business owner while doing that, which I think a lot of, Pilates and yoga instructors also don't necessarily think about the business side of their work. And I expanded to teaching teachers primarily and doing Pilates instructor training programs. And then I definitely realized that I needed to change it up a bit. And so I left my studio, I sold my studio, and then started graduate school in kinesiology. And that was back, I think in 2008 that was. And I really focused in on researching. I wanted to know more about how women's experiences with exercise really impacted their lives. And at the same time that this was happening, I had a miscarriage, and then I had my daughter, and then even another miscarriage. So I was really just personally experiencing a real, just really kind of shaken as to my relationship with my body, which was something that I had worked with so many women on throughout pregnancy, and then into menopause as well, is another time when I feel women really can get their foundation of their connection to their body can really shift there. And so that all influenced my research. I did research on postpartum women and their experiences in yoga classes, and that just really solidified a lot of what I had been kind of developing over time. And then now I actually am faculty at a university. So I teach stress management, which I have really come to realize through my research is a key component of what exercise can bring to our lives, particularly Pilates and yoga. And then, and so that even still now, I have very recently, within the past, I'd say 2 years, started to even expand my reach a little bit. And I have really realized that the key for most women, particularly the women who are my audience, who are really focused on providing care for others, either through their home life as mothers or as caregivers, and or through their professional life, a lot of teachers, nurses, women who really do prioritize caring for others, and Pilates and yoga instructors as well, it's so easy to give for others for these women, but learning how to actually prioritize themselves so that they actually do have that energy and the ability to care for others is something that I have really focused on, how to make it as effective and efficient and just really easy for women to do this. And so that's why I have created my membership and my podcast to really connect with those women and just really get them the tools that they need very easily. And so I'm loving this new development of my business and just really growing through this whole process, which you've been really helpful in. So I do appreciate that as well. So that's kind of where we are today.
So I loved a lot of what you had to say there. And I feel like we're close friends, but I learned so much about you as you went through and explained all of that. So you had your private practice, had your brick and mortar, and then went into grad school, and such a great journey, and a lot of the personal experiences that you, the things that you experienced personally has really led you to the work that you're doing today with your online business. So thank you.
Oh, definitely.
For sharing that. I loved it.
Yes. And because now even, with my daughter and my teaching, and I'm not in a studio full time anymore. I'm at the university. And so I've really just realized that, it's the challenge of fitting in wellness and exercise and fitness into one's life it's so much harder. So I actually kind of created the system for myself. Like, what did I need for, to help me manage stress? And I'm also caring for my mother who has dementia. And so that whole, are managing her care. Right. And so just really the time is so limited now. And I always knew this from working with my clients, but getting to experience it firsthand has really just helped me really create the system that I need, and then that is helping others as well. So it's fabulous to get to do that. Yeah.
So I want to get into the business part, but before I do
Yes.
that, I have to ask you a question because, it came up as you were talking about that. And I think a lot of the people listening here are kind of in the boat that you're in the boat that I am. I teach also at the college level, as you know, and I have 2 courses coming up here soon. And then I have my business, and then I have 4 boys, and, as you know, it's a hard juggling everything. So what is your one tip to making sure that we have that, that self-care? We make sure we prioritize that self-care, whether it's exercising or, other things. What is your one tip for that?
Well, the thing really and truly that makes a huge difference is a lot of the work that probably you and your listeners have done around your business, right? Like identifying, and this is what you teach, right, in your courses, and it was really helpful to me, is identifying your purpose and your vision. And why is it that you want to be healthy and have energy and stamina and all of those things? So I actually take all of my clients and all of my students through that process of kind of identifying where they are baseline with their health, and then really providing a vision for what they see in the future, and then getting to their purpose and their why. And, it might be for some that purpose is, I want to rock a bikini this summer. Not necessarily a lot of my, my audience necessarily, but for me, it's, I want to be the type of person that I want my daughter to be proud of. I want to show up in the world and, have my business that helps others. And I know that you're in that same genre as well. And also, I want to be mindful. And with the stress, if I'm not devoting some amount of time to my self-care every day, I can get away with it for a day or 2, but then it'll catch up to me and I become cranky, really cranky. And that is not who I want to be to my daughter. It's not who I want to be to my husband or my students, or just for myself, right? It doesn't feel good to be cranky. And so really taking the time to sit and identify why health and wellness is something that you need to prioritize. It also helps your business, right? So if you're feeling good, if your cup is full, you can give more. And if your cup is empty, then there's nothing coming out of that cup, really, right? So, so that is, understanding why is really the key to getting that motivation and getting the kind of push to do the workouts, every day or 3 times a week, whatever you decide is the right thing for you. And so that's my main tip. And then the other kind of more practical tip is to make a habit. Right. So you gotta, habits we can keep. And so giving that attention to going through a period of time where you really do make a habit out of whatever health priority you've set, probably just one at a time is good until you get that habit. So when you create the habit, then, it takes a while to create a habit. The 21 days isn't really backed up by research. So that's sad to know for some of us, but really spending a significant period of time to create a habit around it. And then it really does get easier. Yeah.
So such great tips. And honestly, that could be a whole separate podcast in and of itself. But I know we're here to talk about a case study. You have a great case study to talk with us about today with your last launch and how you utilize Facebook ads. So I'm going to kind of jump into all of that. Yes. So just to kind of set the background, can you tell us a little bit about your last launch, what you did, how you structure it, and what you were selling at the end of the launch, just so people can understand your sales funnel and, how I guess I should say the transformation that you are promising people, where you were selling at the end to get them there.
Definitely. Yeah. So this last launch that I did was about a month ago, and I was opening up to the public my membership. And I had already done one very small kind of sample launch to my list, which was pretty tiny at the time. I still have a small but mighty list. And but it's gotten a lot bigger since last month, that's for sure. And basically, I was opening up my membership, and so wanted to do a challenge because I also wanted to do something that would just impact everyone, whether or not they decided that the membership was for them. And so I did a spring renewal challenge and had folks sign up for the challenge. And mostly, I already had my list, so I had some people sign up through that. And then mostly, though, running Facebook ads and Instagram ads with your help. And that was key. And so I had over 500 people sign up for the challenge, which was great. That's, more than currently follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Or did at the time. Now everything's grown since the challenge. And then over the course of 5 days, I dripped, every day was a different workout all around renewal and spring renewal, and just really connecting in and getting stronger and having more energy at spring, which is a really great time for beginning new practices. And also our bodies are just really craving that, right? So giving ourselves some attention before life gets hectic and more busy as the spring concludes, and then we get into summer. And it was so much fun, and it went really well.
Hey there, Destiny here, and I'm the host of the Creators MBA podcast. And this episode is brought to you by HelloContent.shop, your go-to destination for content creation in your online digital product business. I understand how busy you are as an online business owner. I am right there with you. And that is why I have filled our Hello Content Shopify store with low-cost digital products that you can use as a lead magnet or part of your paid programs like your online courses or memberships. We also have marketing templates like email swipe files and social media templates designed to save you time and money. So whether you're looking to streamline your content strategy, enhance your digital products, or just save some precious time, I've got you covered, my friend. Now visit the HelloContent.shop today and take the first step towards effortless content creation.
So we ran the Facebook ads, and we'll talk about those in a second. You funneled everybody into a Facebook group, if I recall, and then every day in that Facebook group, you delivered a video to them?
No, so I actually funneled because I really wanted to build my list. And so I had everyone signed up and I emailed them. So everyone signed up on the list. And then I also encouraged folks to sign up for the group. And I did have my group grow a lot. And so next time I might experiment with delivering the videos through the group, but I definitely had people, they got the videos through their email. And so they basically every morning, they would have an email from me with a link to a landing page with the video that they could watch and do. And each video, part of it was, a lot of my workouts are really designed for stress relief, and that kind of needs more constant attention. So it's designed to be a daily or every other day practice. And so they're like 15 to 20 minutes. So they're shorter videos that you can really realistically do either first thing in the morning or in the evening, squeeze in type of a thought. And so it was all emailed to folks, but there was also the group that was very active and really fun during the challenge. And we had a lot of engagement there and just energy.
And what I like about challenges, and I like challenges for a lot of different niches, but definitely for your niche too. It just gives people that opportunity over, a longer period of time to get to know you, so you can build that know, like, and trust factor. Did you feel like doing the challenge was better than maybe a webinar or anything like a workshop or training?
I do. I mean, I'm not going to lie, it was a ton of work. They are a lot of work, but it was really rewarding because there was a lot of back and forth throughout the week, and really even getting to see people connecting in the group as well. And I definitely feel like, because it was a cold audience, right? So these were people that had never heard of me before. And mostly, right, there were definitely a few people who were already kind of knew of me that took the challenge and were really active into the group. And I do think that helped as well to kind of get the ball rolling on the group. But I was also offering prizes for engagement throughout the week. So basically on one day it was post on Instagram a copy of you doing the workout. And so I also was kind of using it to increase all of my kind of channels. So one day was, comment on watch a YouTube video and comment on that. And so there were definitely people who were really motivated to engage. And, that was a win-win, because the more engaged they are, the more they're going to be actually getting from the challenge that they signed up for and actually motivated to carry through, right? Mm-hmm. Do the workouts. And because with fitness particularly, or with anything, if you don't actually do it, it can't help you. So signing up is a good first step, but then you actually have to do the challenge. So that kind of helped people stay motivated. And that was really fun. But I did really get to interact and answer questions, and I was doing lives almost daily. Because of my teaching schedule at the university, I couldn't do a live every day. So I did, I think, 3 or 4 lives throughout the week, and that was really great. So people, really showed up, particularly in the beginning of the week. Definitely, I noticed with challenges that, there's a lot of, energy in the beginning, and it does slow down a little bit. And so then using the contest and the prizes to kind of re-engage people throughout the week seemed really helpful too. Yeah.
So what did you give away? Now I want to know.
Well, it varied, and I think next time I will kind of change this up. So I would give away I kind of let them choose. And so it would be like, do you want a video that you can download and keep, or do you want me to personalize a video off of, a topic that you would like to have a video address? I tried not to make anything that was too expensive necessarily, and then also used it as a way to let people know about what my services were. So I gave away a free month in the membership one day, and I just let people pick. So I give them 3 or 4 options. A one-on-one coaching call with me was one of them. So it was just a variety of different things that I do. So that was really fun. But I
love that. Those are great prizes, by the way.
Yeah, they were.
I want one coaching call for you. I want to win that.
It was fun. Yeah.
So obviously we want to talk about the Facebook ads. And can you tell us a little bit about your experience with doing ads before this, before we did them for this particular challenge? Have you ever done them in the past? Did they work for you? Did they not work for you?
I had, and I will definitely say that in the past, I had not done like a significant amount. I basically just kind of wanted to experiment and get to know the platform a little bit. And so last fall, when I was launching a beta course for my stress management course, which was really, I wasn't necessarily trying to target cold audiences at all for that. So I was just really targeting people who had liked my pages or were already on my very small list, and which was, a list that had grown over the past like 15 years of my teaching. So it was people who had known me, but and I really had no idea what I was doing. And so I wouldn't say that any of those were successful, that the ads were successful, but it did give me, I might have gotten a couple of people to, sign up for my list or do something like that through the ads. I had even boosted posts before, which I know isn't really a great strategy to do a post boosting, but, just to kind of practice and play. And that experience just really helped me realize that I kind of needed some more help, but that it was really an opportunity that I think is just a great opportunity for folks to get to use, right? It's kind of amazing that there's this, I kind of think about, okay, well, if I was having to place an ad in a newspaper, right, what would that cost? Which I used to do for my brick and mortar, right? Or, because I had that studio before really Facebook, I knew anything about social media or Facebook or anything like that. I was back in like 2005, right? And then, and so, yes, anyway, so before it definitely was not, it was interesting, and I got to play around with it a little bit, kept my ad spends very, very, very tiny so that I could just kind of play with no risk. And then that did actually give me a little bit of confidence to then be like, okay, I'm going to figure this out, get some help, and invest in actually running some real ads.
So this time, and we can talk about, kind of what we did. I know we went in there and tested out different audiences because we wanted to make sure, and these were all cold audiences. So we'll go ahead and clarify that for everybody. These were cold audiences that we were targeting, people that didn't know who you were, and went out there and we tested a couple, or a few, I should say, and then figured out, and they all converted, if I remember correctly, they all converted pretty well, but there was definitely one that was reacting very well to your message, correct?
Yes, there was. I mean, yes. And I'm trying to remember exactly the details. And that was something too that I would have never really thought to do on my own, right? Was the testing of the audiences. And I think that was such just great guidance, right? That you came up with, and, kind of really figuring out like where these people were, right, from my audience. And, and so we did end up with one. And I remember, kind of halfway through, we turned off some ads and then boosted and then put that dollar spend into the audiences that were converting better. And that really worked well. Yeah.
And then we also tested different creative and, creative meaning the pictures versus the videos, and people absolutely loved the videos of you doing yoga or Pilates exercise.
Yeah.
Which I told you they would.
You did.
But it was just fun to see, in the test versus a static picture, or you actually doing the exercises, that they really resonated with you and your face there, and you actually doing that for them.
Yeah. And that is something that I probably wouldn't have had the guts to do on my own, for sure. Because I was just a little self-conscious of that, having a little blip of me. And I think we even kept the sound. So because my tutorial and my instruction is very, it's very explanation based while you're moving. And so we kept a little snippet of me actually teaching the exercise in. And I think that was it was definitely golden. It was a really great idea to do that. And that is not something that I would have done on my own because I was a little shy about it, but it worked really well.
It did work well. And I think people, and this is true for a lot of ads, right? People like seeing the person there, and the videos tend to work well in general. So I'm glad that worked out for you, because your video was great, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah. And I'm a real person too, right? I'm not going to be showing off any six packs or anything like that. And so I think that also really was important, that people see that it's not really this other messaging that's out there about bodies, and, and that's totally fine if that's what motivates people, but that's not necessarily the way I teach, and that's not my audience. So it really did help people get to understand that right away.
Yeah, I mean, they knew who you were. They resonated with you. They resonated with your message. So it was perfect.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about your results. So if I recall correctly, you were able to get around 500, maybe a little bit more in your challenge, and we were running ads for about a week, maybe in a day or so.
Yeah, I think it actually ended up being, we kept the ads running a couple of days into the challenge, and people were still signing up. So, I made sure that every day people could still access the previous videos that they had missed. And then but really we only had, I think, 6 days before the start of the challenge, which was totally because it took me a long time to get you the copy and the creative. So, because originally the goal was that we wanted to have about 10 days before the challenge. So, yes, I think, and it did really have a big momentum. Like, it kept building and building. So I think if we'd had those just a few more days with a little bit more planning on my part, it would have really even had more. But I was thrilled to get over 500 signups for the challenge, which was fantastic, and pretty high engagement rates too, I would say. People definitely the first few days were, they were making sure to check in with every video. And then there was a little lull like on Thursday, but then went back up on Friday. And then I kept the videos available. And then on Friday, I launched the membership and then had that open until Tuesday. And so, it went really well. It converted at about almost 3.8%. So almost 4% conversion, which I feel pretty good about with a cold audience. And it was it went really well. And
you have those people on your email list, so you can continue to build that know, like, and trust factor, which is critical.
Absolutely. And that, I think, and you remember when we were talking about kind of how much I was willing to budget for the ads, I haven't run any kind of evergreen, just lead magnet ads yet. And so just because I still haven't found, other than the challenge, like obviously the challenge is a great way to build my list, but then, I'm still developing like a really great lead magnet for folks. And so so it's just wonderful because now that I have this audience, like I'm going to be able to figure out my lead magnet, kind of the evergreen lead magnet a little better. And that is, so it grew my list. Like my list more than doubled. It almost tripled, I would say, because I said, I had a small list. And so it was so successful in that arena too, which is great.
So if you had to, mention one thing to tell someone who needed to build their email list and fill up their funnel for a membership or an online course launch that they're doing, what would you say to them?
Well, I mean, I definitely, I've spent, so like I said, just moving into my kind of taking my business online, I've been thinking about for about 2 years, and I kind of thought about it for a year. So really it's been about a year since I feel like I've taken really significant action. And really so it took me like a year of developing my business to actually do the ads. And I feel like that I don't want to say lost time because, I was still learning and that's what I needed to get comfortable to actually run the ads. But I wouldn't say to wait. I would say that the ads just make it easier, right? Like I was just trying to build organically for about a year and not really getting a lot of momentum. And I think my mindset was like, oh, well, I'll start doing ads and I'll start spending money on marketing once I have my business more developed. And I kind of see now that is a little bit of a backwards way of thinking, because how am I going to grow my business if I'm not marketing? And so now I'm kind of shifting, and that I'm just really going to be focusing on growth and marketing for the next 6 months as much as possible. And so that's really what I guess I would say. Don't be afraid. And, I really do adopt kind of a growth mindset and a learning mindset. And so I just kind of look at everything as an opportunity to learn. And so, and I don't think you have to spend a ton of money. Like I didn't spend a ton of money. And certainly when you look at, if I haven't spent anything on marketing and I just kind of for the past year, it was basically a couple dollars a day when you think about, okay, that's how much we spent over the year, right? And I just kind of funneled it into this one event. But and
how much did you spend? I don't remember exactly. Can you tell us?
It ended up being about, I think, around like $460.
So $460, and we had over 500 people in your challenge. That is amazing. We had really great conversion rates.
We did. It was crazy. So, and that I think was all the testing that you did. Yeah. And I would have never, ever, ever done that. So I would say that, if you are to like get help with your ads, because that makes a huge difference too. So either learning from someone or actually getting someone who can directly help you is really useful, because we didn't spend a lot, and we ended up, we were getting some of our conversion costs, people signing up were, oh my gosh, it was like, I can't even remember now, but it was well under $1, right? And then
It was. There were some that were over, some that were under, but I couldn't remember exactly how much you spent because it's been about a month or so since we did that.
Yeah, it was around.
You did have great conversion rates.
Yeah. And so that was great. And then also just monitoring that every day, right? So we were really watching what was working and what wasn't. And if something wasn't working, we turned it off. So we weren't like really wasting money. But almost everything had some, it was a really effective, people love challenges, I think.
Well, Kai, tell me, how can people find you if they want to learn more about you?
Well, the easiest way would be my website, which is Kai Autumn, and you spell my name KY, and then autumn like the season. So there is the N at the end of the word, and then .com. And so that you can find just about me. There's links to my podcast there, and links to all my social media, which my podcast is called The Blissful Body. And so most of my social media channels, YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, are just my name, actually. So Kai Autumn and then Russell. Yeah.
Well, Kai, thanks so much for being here today and sharing your experiences with us. I greatly appreciate it. I hope this podcast was helpful for everybody. I will put Kai's link to her website in the show notes. So if you'd like to go join her, just go to the show notes and the link to her website will be there. Bye for now.
Thank you, Destiny.
Thank you.